Hey, hello, I'm Kråkan, also known as Corvus, and welcome to Yacc, yet another Crowcast where I pick a game, I play it for a week, and then I talk about it. This week's game is Tetris. It was released in the US in 1989 and in Europe in 1990. Developed by Nintendo's R&D 1 and published by Nintendo. And also there will be spoilers up ahead, just so you know. But first, a little backstory. To put it shortly, this game is legendary, and that's why I played it. So right off the bat, this is a bit convoluted to explain, but I'll do my best. So this game has many versions, and there are 6 companies according to the wiki page that has the right to make and distribute this game. But the original game was made by Alexei Pyotov in 1984. So there's there's like a documentary that I watched also to understand this, that he made this on his pastime on a computer, and the first version was more based in hex keys and symbols and letters and stuff, and it was a fun little experiment, and he didn't expect a lot of money for it, so he basically just distributed it to his friends. And to keep in mind, this was in Russia during the Soviet Union era, and so what happened was the game spread outside the borders of Russia and into the rest of the world, and a company, I forgot the name, but they more or less said hey, do you want £100,000 for your game? And Alexei said yes. But once the Russian state, the Soviet state, find out that he was selling the game without the permission, they were like, no. And it's the weird thing about communism and the stuff that was back then, I guess. So this game has many versions due to that, because there was not really a way to keep up with licensing and whatnot. So there's another version called Tetris. These are all versions on the Nintendo, by the way. So Tetris in 1990 by Bulletproof Software. It has something to do with Alexei, I guess. Tetris in 1989, developed by Atari Games and published by Tengen. I think that's the most common version. And the one that I will be talking about today, the Tetris from 1989, developed by R&D 1 and published by Nintendo. So the cool thing about this game is that it's on almost every platform. So I think I even had it on my calculator, my Texas Instrument TI-83, I think it was. I don't fully remember, but I had Doom on it, I remember, and I think I had Tetris. And one of those things where you can run pretty much Tetris on the toaster at this point. So, but the one version I actually prefer is the Game Boy version. It's portable and easy to carry around. But one of the more funnier things was that this game is ported to the infamous bad system called the Philips CDI, and I can't even imagine how to play this game with a TV controller. But Tetris is on everything, So according to the wiki, the word Tetris means fall in Greek, but I was a little bit confused because I also know that the word tetra, which means 4, has some significance with this game, and this blew my mind back when I found out that every block in Tetris in the original version is a large block stacked with 4 small ones. So tetra meaning 4, every block is composed of 4 smaller blocks. Kind of cool. I never thought of this when I played, but once you know it, you can't look away from it, I guess. So as you start up the Nintendo version of Tetris, you're greeted to a screen and you can pick between free play, which is game A. It's just get as a high score as you possibly can, and you can do the B scenario, which is the countdown. So you basically have to clear 25 lines, and then you move on to the next stage. You get a little cutscene. You can also change the music between 1, 2, and 3, and I prefer the third one, because it was just different. And you can also turn the music off, so that's a nice little thing. So a normal round of Tetris is like this. Blocks fall from the sky and down into this little boxed out area, and you're supposed to clear out roads, and blocks will continue to drop down one by one, and you can rotate them with the A and B button and move it around with the D-pad, and that's about it. You can pause the game with the start button. Very simple. So in order to clear a line, you have to get the blocks to line up and cover a whole row, and then you will clear that row. That's more or less the game. You have to think about the shapes of the blocks when they drop down, and you can also see what the next block will be on the right side of the screen. So this game is not hard at all. I think it's actually kind of addictive in a sense, because I started playing it and I wasn't really doing that good in the beginning, but then I figured out, okay, if I stack the blocks on the side in a certain pattern, then I will make it easier for me. So it's like a little strategizing. You know what blocks are coming up, and if you just take it easy, and you will do fine mostly. So the game mode that I played most this week was game mode B, and the settings for that was I had the block speed of 0, which is default I think, and then I had the starting blocks being 3, so 3 blocks from the bottom at start, so it's a little bit like a challenging mode. And in this mode you're just supposed to clear 25 lines, and then you progress and you get to put in your high score. That's about it. So as I said before, this game was more addictive than I thought, and I actually had fun playing. It was a little bit frustrating in the beginning because I didn't really know a smart way to put the blocks, but the more I played, the funnier it was. So this is one of those games that it's really simple, but it's actually fun and addictive. So gameplay. Try to clear 25 lines of code if you're in the B mode of the game, and try to get as high score as possible if you play game mode A. Control, the A and B button rotates the block, and the D-pad moves the block around. And if you press down on the D-pad, the blocks goes down with full force, so you don't have to wait for it to slowly go down. And the start button pauses the game. Graphics. Black background, and the blocks are in the color of blue, white, and gray. So it doesn't have to be like a super high detail graphics, and it's actually easier on the eye with like colder colors, if that makes sense. It doesn't need to be vibrant. Sound and music. Hirokazu Tanaka made the music for this game, or at least the Nintendo version. So it plays some homages to the Russian predecessor in the choice of music. I think some of the songs are actually just ports of Russian classic music, and it's simple and it works. Easter egg, secrets, and glitches. So this is a thing that I think is kind of cool. It was physically impossible to proceed through the game at a specific level, because when you clear enough lines, the game becomes faster and harder to play. Basically human impossible. So there's this tapping emotion that you can do, or the pros do, that do like the high score and stuff. So I think they rotate the blocks, and somehow do with this tapping emotion makes them able to like buy them time enough to actually rotate the blocks. And it's kind of a cool thing. It's hard to explain and talk about it, but if you look up a YouTube video on high score, you understand what I mean. It's like they hold the controller really weird, and it looks like they're playing the controller like a percussive instrument or something. But yeah, it's cool to watch, and how people can be creative and figure out, okay, this is, if I do it like this, then it will work, So in conclusion, I wrote, yes, try it or play it. You must play it. It's easy to pick up, and it's fun to play, and a bit addictive. I don't have a whole lot of negative thing to say about Tetris. It's a simple game, a simple premise. Either you play the B game mode, where you just try to clear 25 rows and progress to the next level, or you play the A mode, where you're just trying to get as high score as possible and the speed ramps up. It's just a perfect arcade game. And if you don't like it, you don't need to play it. I mean, it's a classic, and it's ported to basically everything that has some form of memory or a screen to play it on. I mean, as I said, I even had this, I think, on my calculator back at like high school, and it's one of those games that it's legendary. You have to play it, and that's just this, and that's just that. And you have I think even now you have like Tetris 99 on the Wii Shop, and so yeah, go play it. What are you waiting for? Anyway, thanks for listening and or watching, and take care.